Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies podcast. I'm your host, Joe. That is your host, Ian. And today, we're going to be bakers. Improv bakers. Designers of, I don't know how tall it's going to be, but a layer cake.
And a multi-layer cake.
Multi-layer cake, yes.
A fancy way of saying it.
We're going to go back and forth creating probably abominations to each layer of cake, because that's where all of these episodes end up going.
Oh yeah, it always turns into something horrifically terrible. This is a sky tower cake, by the way, Joe. I just want to point out, you almost fumbled your way through that intro. Thought I wouldn't notice, but we did.
I was hoping I was going to call myself out for it. Didn't need you to call me out for it.
I'm here. I got you. Don't you worry. I'm here to pick up on it.
But just so you guys know, fun fact, we don't type up anything for
At
these
all,
episodes.
ever.
Like, we're like, let's create a layer cake. We came up with, well, Ian came up with this idea probably about a year ago. And we're doing it now.
Written down in here. Yeah, it was just written down in here. Literally, the only thing we ever come up with in these is just an idea, a name to something that we can talk about. And then we hit record, and here we are. This is what you're seeing now.
I think about 5% of all of our episodes combined has been written down. About 5%.
Yeah. 5% of them were actually structured. But anyways, yes. So the multi-layer cake. So today, and the inspiration for this, I want to start out by saying.
Yes, please tell them the awful inspiration for this.
So quite literally, the only reason I came up with this idea is because if you guys have ever seen the memes or looked in like old cookbooks back from, I say old, the old cookbooks from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, right? In the 70s, they always had that weird obsession with Jell-O. Like they just made everything into Jell-O. It's like, oh, here, try this Jell-O cake that has hot dogs and peas and carrots and mushrooms on top with a gravy sauce over the top. And you're just going, my God, the cocaine back then was good. Like what were they creating? Like, and all I could think was like, oh, what if we made something? And obviously, Jell-O is a little too easy. You can put just about anything in Jell-O. I could put this marker in Jell-O and just call it marker Jell-O. Boom, $1 million idea. So I wanted to create a layered cake where Joe and I will take turns just adding another layer onto this cake. And then, so I think a great way to approach this, Joe, what we'll do is that we just start at layer one, we build our way to the top, and then once it's all done, then we pick our frosting and we'll give it a nice little topper so that everything is all peachy keen and wrapped up in a beautiful little gift. And this can be somebody's wedding cake someday if they ever feel like having all of their guests projectile vomit immediately.
I mean, Debbie and I are planning our wedding next year.
Hey, you want to see the world's worst fire hydrant recreation wedding? Just it'll be the most horrible thing.
Okay, please start with the first layer. That was disgusting.
You're welcome. So the very first layer, just to be nice to everybody, will be actual just regular cake mix. We got to have a strong foundation. We got to start good, right? So it's just literally take your bland vanilla, I don't know, 12-inch cake pan. We'll make it a 12-inch cake pan because arbitrary numbers.
We should probably make it wider at the bottom and then make it thinner going up. Let's go like 18-inch and then we'll just
18.
Hey, we got a reception of people.
Oh yeah, the bottom layer will definitely be crushed under the weight of everything that's coming above it. So it'll be fine. But we'll start out. We'll have a nice, just regular cake mix bottom. Go to the store, look for a Betty Crocker cake mix, whatever flavor, funfetti if you feel like it. Throw it in the oven, get that sucker moving. We're starting off with regular old cake mix for layer number one.
Okay.
Joe,
let me spice it up a little bit. We're gonna go with carrot cake.
Ooh.
But Here's where the caveats start. Here's where the caveats start.
Oh no.
So it is going to be basic carrot cake. But the carrots in the carrot cake are those like baby carrots, like the small ones, but the really thick ones, they're not cut up. They're just in the cake mix.
They're just in there.
Yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. We starting out with a regular cake layer, moving to a second regular cake layer, and then it just has baby carrots inserted in it.
Not on the top, inside. So it's
Yeah, literally inserted into. Because all I'm
No,
imagining
so-
is like if you just made like one regular layer and then you made a second layer. And it too is just normal cake, and then you're like, all right, time for the carrots to make it carrot cake. You just like push them down into the
Not what
Loading
I
it up.
thought, but that makes it so much better. Not what I was going for. Like, I was thinking you mix it in, but you just don't chop them up.
Oh, I know. I'm
Hillbilly
loading that
carrot
sucker up
cake.
like a revolver cylinder, just sticking them in, slotting them in one at a time,
I
baby.
mean, this cake will be Russian roulette.
Oh, it'll be something. I don't know. It'll Russian roulette with a semi-automatic pistol if you want. That's what it'll be. Okay. Layer 3. We're gonna start devolving a little bit here.
I think we already did, but continue.
Layer 3
Oh,
is gonna be so do you remember when Domino's used to advertise their bread bowls?
why are you talking about Domino's with cake?
You remember when they
Yes,
used their
the
bread-
pasta
okay,
bread bowl.
the pasta bread bowl. Yes. So layer 3 is going to be a bread bowl, and it's going to be essentially this is going to be like the world's worst pie inside the world's worst cake. It's going to be a bread bowl, and it's going to be filled with the raspberry jam that they put inside Bismarck donuts. I don't know, whatever they call that stuff. Super great on its own in small doses. I imagine an entire bread bowl filled with it might not be the best thing in the world, but it's going to be a bread bowl filled with that raspberry jam. Just because I like the raspberry jam. I want it in there. You know, it's tasty. It's good. You need a little something to sweeten the taste buds while you're going through all 5 stages of grief in 2 minutes while you eat your cake. So what's our layer 4, Joe?
I have a question.
Yes.
Depending on how much we want to just not eat this cake, does every
Put
layer have
arsenic in it?
does every layer have to be edible? Like it has
You
to
know what?
contain food.
No, we'll say that it must contain at least one piece of it is edible.
Oh, I can take a mile with that rule.
Yes, you get an inch, take a mile.
I'm gonna save the one I have in mind for a higher layer because we'll devolve as we go up. But
Fair enough.
we're gonna
Fair
have like a graham cracker pie crust, okay? As the 4th layer, so probably somewhere in the middle. How it's gonna stay up, I don't know. But then
It's fine. We've got supports. We're putting rebar in the middle of it. That'll hold it up.
in the center, well, like in the pie crust,
In your graham cracker crust.
yes, we'll do a. I don't know why you had said this food item in one random episode. I don't even think it contained. We were talking about food, but we're gonna do a thick pea soup.
Oh
in the
god.
graham cracker pie crust.
A thick pea soup directly above a raspberry jam.
No, I didn't even think of that, but yeah.
You know, that's gonna have some kind of taste to it. That's Why is my raspberry jam have seeds in it? Those ain't seeds. Those are peas. It's all right. You'll be fine. Moving on to layer 5.
Not
that
talking about
horrific
that
addiction.
layer anymore.
Moving on to layer 5. I want. Oh, this is the worst. Okay, so I
Oh,
want you to imagine.
also I gotta
rice-
fly, like flying in front of the camera every now and then. I apologize.
Buzzing around. That's all right. You're shooing away the smell from this
Wafting the smell out.
intangible cake that's already going terrible. Okay, so imagine, if you will, you know how rice cakes are, right? Like them solid, flat, bland
Yeah, I
suckers are
can't
like
stand them.
they're like thick as a hockey puck and what. Okay, well, I want you to imagine one of them, but it's made out of calamari. And if you don't know,
Is it the same? Is it the same thickness?
yes, it's the
Holy,
same
that's a packed.
thing.
I've had
It'd be a pack.
calamari before. I did enjoy it.
It's gonna be a disc. I see. I'm not a particular fan of calamari. It's not necessarily the taste; it's the texture. It's too.
The texture is very weird.
It's grainy. It tastes like I'm eating sand, or it feels like I'm eating sand. But I just want like a hardened layer of like this is literally like you could throw this thing like a frisbee. It's gonna add some crunch, and it's
You-
just a disc of calamari for layer 5.
You said it tastes like sandy to you?
Not well, like
Calamari is squid, by the way.
No, it's fish eggs, isn't it?
Caviar?
I give up. I don't know my foods. I don't know anything.
Caviar. That's what I was thinking
Calamari
of.
is squid.
Calamari is squid. I hate. No. Calamari makes it a lot better. Caviar, yes. Caviar makes me think of sand. Calamari makes me think of I'm not gonna say that because that's give you a terrible visual. We're gonna leave it as calamari. We're gonna have a dried hunk of squid in a solid disc in the center of this cake. Yep. I'm not gonna expand any more on that lest I make a bigger fool of myself than I already have. Totally
Moving on
forgot
to
the
layer
calamari and caviar were separate things, anyways.
Yeah, you said it tasted sandy. I'm like, I've had calamari like onion rings, and it was very chewy. How do you get sand out of that? Anyways,
Yeah.
layer
no.
6. We're getting more unedible. Gonna do this. We're gonna put some blackberries in this.
Oh
Give
god.
it some taste. And now that I'm thinking of it, what you just said is perfect for this layer. Like, we're not going with caviar and that's sandy. We're going with literal mud pie.
Literal actual mud pie
Like,
with
no
blackberries.
rocks, just like wet sand with blackberries in it.
Actual mud. You just went outside after it rained, scooped up a big old hunk of grease, walked inside your house, popped open a tin of blackberries, and went perfect, smack, and just like slapped it right in the center of that bad boy. It's oozing out the sides like grease out of a burger that you got from a fair joint, a fair food truck, and you're like, oh yeah, look at this burger. Look at you can just squeeze the burger and watch the grease come out of it. That's what you can do with this mud pie layer. Just watch it dribble out the sides. All right, layer 6, literal. Actually, I'm writing all these down, by the way.
Yeah, we're not a
Literal actual
podcast.
mud pie.
We're not a podcast that writes down ideas beforehand. We write them down during.
As we talk about them. As we talk about them. Oh my god, Jesus. Okay, so layer 7. How have we gotten to layer 7 already? We should have been shut down by the health department several layers ago. We should have never been allowed to open. I think they would have walked in and the ones, I don't think you guys are bakers at all.
As soon as you said
like-
Domino's bread bowl, it was gonna go
It
very
was over.
south really quick.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob when they concoct the world's worst patty to kill the health inspector. That's what we're doing right now. We're concocting the world's worst cake to, I don't know, ensure that no defense could ever hold up in court, and everything we say is inadmissible and will in fact be held against us. Layer 7. Okay, layer 7. What to put for layer 7?
I got layer 8 on the docket.
You got layer 8 locked and in the chamber? All right.
Yep.
You know, I'm thinking veggies are always a good thing.
Okay,
Veggies.
back to the veggies.
Yep. So it's going to be an outside ring of broccoli, heads, broccoli, whatever. And then we will have the inside is layered with cucumbers. And then we're going to drizzle ranch all over the top of that. All over the top. Not like flooding it, but like house salad special. Drizzle a little ranch over the top of that bad boy so you get some good flavor action going on in there. We need to get our vegetables in. If we're really doing this, we need a veggie layer because we've got to encompass all of the food groups in this cake.
Well, perfect. Perfect. If we're doing all the food groups, we gotta have some dairy. And that's where layer 8 gets in. The dairy is the normal part.
Please tell me it's just a cheese wheel. Please tell me it's just a wheel of cheese in the middle of that thing. Oh, you imagine looking at this monstrosity and in the middle of it is that provolone? Yeah, we got it at a great price too. Just big old hunk of cheese in there. We wanted Swiss, but they told us the bacteria culture couldn't grow fast enough to make the holes, so provolone was the next best choice. They said if we wait long enough, it'll just turn into blue cheese all on its own.
You know what? We'll just go with that, and I'll save the. That's not where I was going, but that's. I just imagine like an 8-inch thick, like top down, just
Skyrim wheel of cheese. One wedge is missing because somebody got hungry when we were putting the thing together.
that'll be layer 8.
I wrote wheel of cheese, but all I got was wheel of, and then I went back and my mind wanted to put wheel of fortune. Yeah. All right.
They play Wheel of Fortune to see which layer you have to eat.
Spin the wheel. Let's see which one. There's a try again, and then there's a try them all. Just like
Oh my goodness.
thin little strips on there as you spin it around.
Oh,
Okay.
that's awful.
Layer 9. Layer 9. What could we put for layer 9? We haven't hit the proteins yet. We
There
haven't
might
hit our
be some in the
protein.
mud.
We got you might have a couple of worms or grubs that managed to get scooped up with the mud. Bear Grylls looking at that section, just like, oh yeah, let me into that sucker. Okay, so if we're going with proteins, we got to pick. It's got to be top shelf. So we're gonna go with Wagyu. We're gonna go with Wagyu steak.
Is it true Wagyu or American Wagyu?
American Wagyu. We're not that fancy.
Okay.
We want a somewhat of a budget. We want people to be able to afford to take a bite out of this thing. Wagyu cooked medium rare with some Heinz 57 sauce drizzled over the top of it. And that's literally just because I know that there's some people out there who hate having sauce on their steaks. And I am not one of said people. I enjoy having sauce on my steak, whether that be barbecue, A1, Heinz 57. I'll even take ketchup on a dry spell. Sorry.
I was gonna say, don't worry, you could be me and like ketchup on it.
Hey, we could be, English and cook it well done on a griddle top. That's
We
a
could
story
be
for another
English
day.
and have beans on toast, but
Yeah, eat like the Germans are still flying overhead. The Luftwaffe ended 80 some odd years ago, right? Okay, just making sure. Just making sure.
so many good clips from this episode.
Wanted to make sure you had some good short material.
It's like we're talking about
Talking about cake. How did we end up on the subject of World War II? I don't know. We're just that good, man. You ever had a Wikipedia race before? Same concept. Several trains of thought. Not a single one of them have a conductor, and they're all converging on the same thoroughfare. What's that called? Switching station. They're all about to slam into it at the same time, man. It's the resulting explosion could be seen for miles around. You know what it smelled like? It smelled like cake. And that's what it ended with.
Thomas was coming after that cake, but it wasn't that kind of cake.
I'm sorry, I can't think of Thomas the Tank Engine now without thinking of that stupid
The deep fried version?
not even that one. Have you ever
Like
seen
the rap?
Thomas? Yeah, the Thomas the Dank Engine, where they put Biggie over the Thomas the. Oh, I got 7 Mac 11s, 838s, about 9. And it's just a just Biggie Smalls going over it.
If you've made it this far, and this is your first episode, we went from cake to World War II to Thomas the Tank Engine in sub 3 minutes.
Yep. That about tracks for what we need. All right.
I almost forgot what the layer was. Wagyu.
And we're on layer 10 now.
I think this
just
will
did
be
layer
the
9,
final
Wagyu,
layer.
Heinz 57. All right. Heinz 57. Screw it. I know what I meant.
So I'm trying to think of a way to make this work.
Oh, don't worry. We'll add like a little cherry on top too. So
I know. I'm
mean,
trying to make sure the structure is a structure. You'll understand in a second once I figure out how to make this work.
Might have to add some concrete pillars to this thing here or there to keep it held upright. Oh, my teeth! What happened? Oh, that's just one of the concrete nuggets. It's all right. We'll comp you for the dental expenses, but only 80%. Just.
Well, you went construction. I went landscaping.
You put in there grass seed?
Nope.
Some
worse.
mulch?
Maybe.
Are you gonna put mulch as our cake topper?
I'm trying to think of how to do it. I'm thinking maybe a cake mix. You grind up some of the mulch, put it in, and then you put icing around, and then you stick the big pieces of mulch to the outside.
Quite literally, we painstakingly super glued pieces of mulch together.
I thought about that, but I want it more edible because you can technically eat some wood. I didn't want to add glue.
Okay. Well, they do make I think make like a baker's glue. I don't know if that's what it's called, but
I think like sugar. Really hot
it's like
sugar
to make sure that they can use it to like cement things on there.
Okay, we'll use that. Just mulch with sugar.
Bit of an earthy taste to this. Oh yeah, that's actually a new fiber-rich, enhanced paste that we decided to put in there. Oh, where'd you source the ingredients from? My garden. Good stuff. Just they smile and they're just like tons of wood chips sticking out of their teeth.
And they're talking and like pieces are just falling out of their mouth.
I'd offer you a toothpick, but it looks like you already got that covered, buddy. I don't think
You got
need
like
any
10
more
in your
wood."
mouth. Okay.
All right. So
I
layer
would
10 is
like
mulch.
if we're doing icing, let's
Yes.
just do like a basic like strawberry icing.
Just strawberry icing around the whole thing. I can work with that. I can live with that.
To
Couple of
hide
rose
the
petals.
monstrosity underneath.
Yeah, so it'll be a nice red icing, and then we'll have like rose petals, around each layer. Except they'll be actual roses instead of like the candy
To
ones.
stick with
that
the
they-
theme, you know.
Yeah, just literally just take a rose and like give it a good shake over the thing, and then they all just like fall off and drizzle. And that's not the right word.
Float.
Confetti their way
Float.
over the cake. Yeah, float.
Drizzle.
Let me drizzle this rose over the cake real quick. Oh my god, there's a hole in my chest. Did you see that? Why? Ah, this makes no sense. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so we got a strawberry icing, we got our rose petals. Now we need a good cake topper.
The piece
What
de
can we-
resistance.
Yes, our centerpiece, our thing above the mantle, our number one, our topper. What can we put up there that would just really catch the eye? That would really tell everyone this is a cake worth trying.
You can come up with a different idea than me. I have an awful one. So for whatever event this is, I've just been picturing it as a wedding. They have pork is what they're serving. But it's the whole hog, and they take the head of the hog and put it as the cake topper.
Do they keep the apple in the mouth?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Wow, if that isn't nightmare fuel, I don't know what is.
That's why I had the disclaimer, you can pick something else.
Honestly,
Make it
no,
a
I
little
don't think there's nothing I could pick at this point that would top having the roast pig as the cake topper with the apple in its mouth. The apple is a wax apple, by the way. It's not even a real apple. It's not even a real apple. And then just to add insult to injury, we'll drizzle a little chocolate. That's the correct application of drizzle. We'll drizzle a little chocolate over top of the pig head. Just so it looks fancy. Really fits the theme of it. Really works. Wow, that's quite a cake that we've built. And in all its glory, the cake that we have built goes a little something like this. Stop catching on the zipper. Bad headphone.
Are you starting from the bottom or starting from the top?
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. So our cake. Layer number 1. It's just a regular old cake layer. Go to the store and buy a Funfetti mix. Layer 2. Carrot cake. Another regular cake layer with baby carrots inserted into it like a poorly applied suppository. Just right in there. Layer 3. Bread bowl with raspberry jam. Layer 4, graham cracker pie crust, pea soup. That's a hell of a bowl, dude. One slice of that thing and it's just gonna everywhere. Like I don't know how you'd ever be able to eat that. Layer 5, a disc of calamari because I don't know my foods. A disc of calamari. Layer 6, literal, actual mud pie with blackberries in it because that's still edible. And possibly a grub or a worm or two, night crawler in there. Layer 7, For our veggie fans out there, broccoli with cucumber in the middle and some ranch over top. Layer 8, wheel of cheese. Layer 9, Wagyu, cooked medium rare with Heinz 57 over top. And layer 10 are painstakingly crafted. You know what? Let's make it a mulch crown. I want it to be a crown with like a hollow center, and the pig head sits in the center with the apple sticking out of top. Surrounding this beautiful creative mess is a wonderful strawberry frosting with actual rose petals drizzled over the cake.
With chocolate drizzled.
Yes, and this monstrosity, I'm just like picturing it now. If I was looking at it, I can imagine this monstrosity would be like as tall as we are. Just sitting on there, sitting on the freaking little trolley deal. As they push it, you can see the whole thing wiggle with every move, and you're just going, oh my god, please don't fall and break apart.
I'm sure a
Oh.
lot of people would be, once they knew what was in it, please fall on the floor and break apart.
Man, it's a really good thing we didn't make this one of those, special surprise cakes where somebody pops out the top, because I don't think you could stick anybody in there without several health waivers and a gas mask, if I'm being completely honest with you.
In a helmet.
Hey, do you have a functioning sense of taste and smell? Yeah? Sorry, we need another candidate. You're not fit for this one.
The cake perfectly
The cake, the cake from
perfectly
hell.
resembles what I do with my problems. My problems are underneath and just a nice layer of frosting to hide
I
it all.
cover it up with a nice pretty layer of please don't pay too much close attention to this. That's the frosting. Frosting fighting for its life not to just fall off the thing and run away from the sheer vapor emanating off of this thing.
But yeah, we did our
I don't-
best.
I don't know how we managed to stretch a cake episode into half hour.
I knew we
We
would.
tried.
It's us. We were on layer 5 at the 10-minute mark. And we started at the 5-minute mark.
Hey Joe, can I confide in you something here? I don't think we should be bakers. I don't think we should be allowed anywhere near a bakery. I wouldn't even trust me to make Bismarcks. I'd put mayo in them just to
Oh my.
really add the evil on top of that there, little sriracha sauce, little sriracha in there. Heck, I'd put relish in one just to watch the face somebody makes. Ooh, donuts. Is that relish? Just absolutely wreck them. Absolutely wreck them. So yeah, I should probably be federally banned from ever being allowed to work in a bakery.
Just put some I can believe it's not mayo in the Bismarcks.
I can't believe it's not mayo. I can't believe you fell for that. You ever heard of the baker's dozen? This is the baker's nightmare. This is the baker's mistake.
Kitchen
That's what we
nightmares?
made. The baker's
The whole
mistake.
show is just about us.
Kitchen nightmares, and it's one episode is us making this cake, and then that's it. The whole thing gets shut down after that. There's no more episodes. It was a one-time 1-hour special. Ended up on 60 Minutes after they realized we've maimed several people with this horrific concoction,
then it ends up on-
confectionery concoction of nightmares and doom.
It ends up on Forensic Files after.
Yeah. Put it in a museum. There's just one slice missing.
The hog's
and
head.
it's yeah. The hog. Oh man.
Well,
The
we got-
only photo that exists of it is like a super grainy, washed out black. Like, you know what the
The
elephant's
security.
foot is? Have you ever
Oh,
heard of
yeah.
the elephant
Yeah,
foot?
oh, yeah.
It's like the picture of the elephant's foot where like half the photos melted because we had to stick a camera around the corner to take a picture of it.
I think we need
Oh.
to stop here.
Yeah, we should probably stop here.
Once we got to World War II and a cake episode, it was probably not gonna get any better.
They'll rue the day they didn't let me into bakery school.
Okay. That is enough.
That's where we're drawing the line. Okay, that's fair. Hey, Joe, I have a quote ready. I'm good. I did good today. I got a quote ready.
I don't.
You can appreciate the bright lights really show the bags under my eyes now. I like that. That's wonderful. And you know, the quote that I highlighted, and I chose this just at random, but I feel like it fits perfectly with the theme of this episode. From Brett Butler. Dreams that do come true can be as unsettling as those that don't.
I don't think I need a quote today. That sums it up.
No, well, that's both of our quotes. I'll count that one as both of our quotes.
But thank you guys for joining us. Unless you got more to say.
I was just gonna say the BS Butteries bake.
BS Butteries. I mess up the intro, you mess up the outro.
What a wonderful world we live in, folks. The BS Buddies Bakery. And the dreams that do come true quote, that's our tagline. That's our terrible business slogan.
Thank you guys if you made it this far. Or if you're checking out the shorts. We
check out the whole video of this one. Yeah.
Yeah. The last few ones that we've done have been solid. I'm at a loss for words myself.
I really don't know how we ever move forward from this.
Follow, subscribe to become a bud today. Subscribing is easier than making a cake.
Yeah, it really
way
is.
easy, especially this one. See you next time when we settle all the lawsuits.
See you on the far side of litigation. Hope we're still in business by then. But hey, in the meantime, don't eat the cake, because the cake is a lie. And you take her easy now.